seeing if he's having trouble tonight.
Good evening. We're going to get started. This meeting is a meeting of the school board of public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. Maybe time for public participation is indicated by agenda item or is directed by the president. Meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact the superintendent at the school corporation's central office. The meeting will be electronically recorded and will be kept on file in the superintendent's office. A copy of the audio recording will also be available on the NLCS website. Website address is www.nlcs.k12.in.us. We'll call the meeting to order. Let the record reflect that Mr. Bailey, Mrs. Miller, Mrs. Collier, Mr. Londrick. I can't see that.
He's not. He's.
And Dr. Gerges is trying to join us via Zoom, but anyway,
There.
There is.
Dr. Gerges is joining us via Zoom. With that, rise and uncover, say the pledge. Mr. Poyer, you lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, review for approval minutes, executive session memorandum from May 20th, 2021, the executive session memorandum from June 3rd, 2021.
Motion.
Mr. Bailey makes the motion in a second. Second. Mr. Lundberg seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing that, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same.
I abstain.
Thank you. Item D, person to address the board relative to the agenda. If you wish to make public comments on items relative to the agenda, please place the completed comment card on the podium prior to the start of the meeting. As a reminder, during public comments, the board administration will not be answering questions. There's a three-minute time limit. First up, Joanna Hackney.
My name is Joanna Hackney. As a North Lawrence employee for the last 18 years, I have served as both a middle school teacher and counselor. Tonight, I want to tell you why I will be discontinuing my work with North Lawrence. Prior to my speech, I would like it to be clear that my intent is neither to burn a bridge nor drop the mic. Instead, I aim to deliver my final act of advocacy for the students I love so much. Please see it as such. Though I did not receive an invitation from Mrs. Winsack for a June 4th exit interview as the other resigning faculty did, Dr. Munkle did invite me to speak with him. However, he's already familiar with my position, and I want to make sure that you are too. My focus with North Lawrence has always been what is best for the students. I met with many of you during your campaigns to discuss that focus. One critical area was and is the attraction and retention of good teachers. Trent, I talked to you about teachers not speaking up for students because they feared being moved from either A, their positions, or B, their schools. You told me empathetically how horrible that must be. Imagine standing up for what you believe is best for students and losing both. Kamal, we talked extensively about you hosting forums to learn the teacher's perspective. Rusty was quoted in the paper the night he was elected. If anyone has concerns, they shouldn't be afraid to contact me, teachers, staff, and everyone in the corporation. I'm here to be a voice for them. Imagine being precluded from speaking to the board and then losing favor of the board altogether. The attraction and retention of good teachers. I am a good teacher. If you disagree, check my recent evaluations at Olytic Middle School. Talk to students, talk to their families, or recall the time I spent with 6 out of 7 of you as I've educated the children of 6 out of 7 of you. I'm a good teacher, one who would use her last breath to fight for North Lawrence, and you could not retain me. Do not confuse my disillusionment with a lack of work ethic, a matter of a simple, lazy, summer-loving teacher being weeded out by accountability. Rather, I'm disillusioned by misleading data, misleading statements, poor communication, questionable ethics, and the promotion of administration's care for teachers and employees when I have never felt less cared for or about in my entire career. My disappointment does not extend to building a level administration, but the care I felt from them was overshadowed by the complete shattering of professional and personal identity I've experienced with this administration, ultimately affecting my physical health and creating extremely dark mental and physical times for me. Luckily, with support from those who do actually care about me, I'm still here to advocate for students tonight. I love my students. I love their families. I consider it my life calling to work with the kids in the community where I was raised, but I cannot fulfill that calling here anymore. If one of North Lawrence's biggest cheerleaders feels this downtrodden, imagine how every other employee feels. Therefore, I am using my last professional breath to fight for North Lawrence. Fix it. Reach into your hearts and your past and your conversations with me and fix it. This request is the last one I can make on behalf of the children I love. You may no longer consider me worth it, but they certainly are.
Thank you.
And your service for 18 years.
Next up, Carla Hudson.
I've spent the last 15 years doing my best to meet the goals for NLCS food service and the daily needs of the kids. These kids are the reason I chose to work in the school system. The first 13 years of my position, I can honestly say that I did not ever dread coming to work. The past 2 years have been the complete opposite. The current administration does not care about the employees, people that speak up or question any decisions made by the administration gets immediate repercussions. This is absolutely unacceptable. The turnover of employees has never been as bad as they have been in the past 2 years. For many years, working for the school system was considered a great opportunity for many people because of the work schedule and the environment. The work environment has been destroyed. People have left their jobs and new employees can barely be found because of the environment has been created by this administration that cares nothing about the employees of NLCS. For many years, I was able to proudly tell people that I love my job. The past 2 years, all I can say is that I enjoyed the people I worked with and the kids in the kitchen. But the constant beatdown from the administration made it almost impossible to come to work most days. If it wasn't for the ladies I worked with in the kitchen and the kids, this letter would have been sent a long time ago. To be honest, the unprofessional way that I personally have been treated and the way that some of the elected officials of the board act towards people is a complete embarrassment. I'm ashamed of this administration, the way they think that they are so much better. Now that the negative truth has been stated, I can now focus on the positive about my career with NLCS. If it wasn't for the encouragement of Miss Judy Bailey, Miss Stacy Green, and Mr. Gary Connor, I would not have become the successful kitchen manager that was able to impact the lives of hundreds of kids. This group of individuals motivated me and encouraged me to better myself in NLCS food service by becoming a kitchen manager at Stalker Elementary. This is something that I will cherish for the rest of my life, and I will take with me to my next position with my new employer. The heartfelt hugs and the hearing of the kids call out, Miss Carla, whenever I see a student out in public is what motivates me and has kept me with NLCS for all these years. These kids and the opportunity from NLCS will forever hold a special place in my heart. I will now move on to another school system to share my love of kids and help develop another school to be welcoming and supporting group of people as we had at Stockford.
Next up, Brad Gilbert.
Apologize, I'm gonna put my glasses on. I just want to take a minute to thank Dr. Mungle, the current school board, and the 3 former school board members for the support of the softball program and the turf that was installed this year. We'll get back to the softball team here, but I know other sports teams use the turf this year. We had, anytime we were on the road, I know like Unified Track and some things like that had an opportunity to use our field. PE classes use the field often. You know, it was kind of funny because I would have some colleagues occasionally would say, hey, you know, did you see, you know, DJ Horton's class down there tearing up this, you know, softball field and things like that, trying to get a rise out of me. But I'm really excited and proud of the fact that all these teams and PE classes and things like that could use it. I know we had the senior send off and we had the Starnival. They had kickball down there. And so I just wanted to kind of give you a report that the turf is appreciated and it is being used in just the short, 4 months that we've had it. Wanted to throw you some more stats. We had 14 home games, and we also had a regional game and had no rainouts. We actually had no practices canceled this year. There were about 3 practices that I looked ahead and saw that there were some storms coming in, and so I kind of gave the team a night off just for some rest and stuff. We practiced in the rain, but I think all this is important that you understand that those practices that we were able to be outside were just one extra team that didn't have to be in the gym on those nights. And if you've never been in the gym during the spring, it can get crazy because there's so many teams trying to share a limited space. And so, that was really beneficial for our team this year, especially that we had absolutely no time lost, due to the weather and things like that. We actually had some games, had one game that we were supposed to be on the road and it was too wet, too muddy to play there. So they actually came to Bedford to play. And I know some of them were at the regional game, but that atmosphere was incredible. When we were getting ready for the semi-state, when the umpires came up to me and said they couldn't wait because I guess he's got a couple games coming up this next season, and he just said, he saw the turf, he saw the atmosphere, and he was excited to come to Bedford to actually do a game, because he saw that on my social media and I think our live stream and things like that. And so I just wanted to thank you again for your support and continue to look to increase all of our venues, whether it's sports or whether it's the PAC, things like that need to be upgraded. Thank you very much.
Next, Mrs. Brown, claims payroll.
Sorry, I moved. Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. Claims and payroll since our last board meeting totaled $4,698,639.80. Just seeking your approval on claims and payroll since our last board meeting.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
One makes the motion, second.
Second.
Miller seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same.
Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel, Mrs. Winzak.
Thank you.
We'll begin with new hires, starting with administrators. Jordan Key, BNL principal, Jenna Clark, BNL assistant principal, Amy Redmond, Career Center director, Stephen McNabb, Career Center assistant director, Melissa Epping, Parkview assistant principal. Under certified, we have Hannah Bennett, Parkview resource instructor, Dustin George, NLCS instructor, Bonnie Griffey, instructional coach, Luke Hayden, fire instructor, Lucas Roman, Parkview instructor, Rachel Shea, NLCS speech language pathologist and student support specialist, Ashley Smith, Parkview instructional coach, and Dr. Aaron Welch, school psychologist. I bring those to you for your approval.
Motion to approve.
A motion to approve the new hires as listed.
Mr. Bailey makes the motion in a second.
Okay.
Mr. Miller seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any of our new hires in the audience that would like to stand up? We just have one. Mrs. Redmond, thank you for being here. The next section is just information. I'll let you read those as listed. Skipping on down to letter C, support staff. We have a nurse named Sites. Under instructional, we have Maria Hillenberg, Edmore Elementary Health Aide, and food services, Rachel Davies, and LCS Cook. I bring those to you for your approval.
So moved.
Mr. Lambert makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving down to extracurricular. I'll let you read those for yourself. We have middle school fall sports and cheer coaches, high school fall sports and athletic directors. And most of those are returning folks. There's a new Emmy Reinders, BMS head cheer coach. Chris Kurtz is returning as tennis coach. He was previously, but has been away from that for a while. And Dustin George as assistant athletic director. And then also Logan Phelps for his summer agricultural ECA. I bring these to you for your approval.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Bailey makes the motion in a second. Miller seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, letter E, non-renewals. Kathy Aldridge, Brittany Chastain, Kristen Clausen, Rebecca Jeter, Alexis Perry, Christina Reinhardt, Stephen Schiller, Ashley Singh, Jennifer Solari, James Trital. I bring those to you for your approval.
Motion to approve. We don't do that. We don't need a
We
motion.
do actually.
We do, actually. Sorry about that.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Bailey makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Mr. Lambert seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. Letter F, resignations. As presented on the agenda for certified support and ECA positions. You read those for yourself. And then moving on to letter G, I'd like to read and congratulate the retirements. Mike Beatty retiring as mechanic after 28 years of service. Teresa Loam retiring as custodian after 5 years of service. Beverly Neely retiring as a food service cook after 13 and a half years of service. Carla Spears retiring as a food service after 3 years of service. Sandra Spears retiring as food service cook after 5 years of service, and Donnie Thomas retiring as custodian after 12 and a half years of service. Congratulations and best wishes to all of those retirees. And final information item, leave requests. Cheryl Greenwald is requesting a leave of absence to do her student teaching for us. And Kelsey Pace requesting parental leave as listed. Any questions?
Thank you. Moving on, item G, number 1. Dr. Moon.
Mr. President, first, we had our first reading of the Neola policy, and we just request the board's approval tonight for updating our Neola policy.
So moved. Mr. Lambert makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Miller seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same.
Next up for the board's approval, we have our 21-22 textbook adoption and fees. As we presented to you, of course, they're consistent and no increases in those, but we've status quo and we need that approval.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Miller makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Mr. Lambert seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Next up, we need to increase our adult lunch prices according to the federal guidelines. So I just asked the board's approval to increase the adult meal prices.
And this was DOE, we really have nothing to do with it.
Correct.
I mean, it just,
Yeah.
they
With
sent it down
the,
to us.
yeah, it's a federally funded program, and with what they reimburse us, it has to be that amount. Yeah.
So moved.
Mr. Lambert makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Mr. Bailey seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Next up, board's approval to advertise for an RFP, request for proposals for a guaranteed energy savings project with Performance Services, Inc. This will be engineer work for the bond that we had issued with our debt service fund, the 2.6 million that we had. We will go through a bid process. We're obviously looking at HVAC work with the auxiliary gym and there at the high school, and also Stalker Elementary, and reviewing Shawswick and Parkview. So that will allow them to assist us and go through that process. We'll probably do the advertisement, and we have been told, I think the best time to do the work would be next summer, instead of trying to do something during the school year, and even the limited supplies and controls and so much of that stuff. So, but we'll get that process started.
A motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Bailey makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Mr. Lambert seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Next, approval to hire American Clean and Seal for the pool cleaning out at the B&L. A lot of it is, we noticed some of the water seepage down below. We're resealing the grout that is on that pool deck. Also, they're going to be going into both of the locker rooms, just kind of the shower area and just out. That has never been resealed. So we're doing that, and just upgrades with the pool, and we had not approved that contract and their work. So bring that to you tonight for your approval.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Lambert makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Bailey seconds the motion. Questions on the motion?
Did we take bids for that?
So we did not. It's really a specialty. We've been working with Spear Corporation in the past, and this is a company they recommended. It is under the threshold of the 50,000 that we would
That's what I
need.
wondered.
Yeah, we would need to. Good point. Good question.
Any other questions on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Other questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
I do have on the agenda the Lincoln Elementary easement, which is a veteran gas easement, but I'd like to wait and we'll bring that to you next month. I've not had an opportunity to meet with them. Our schedules just have not met up, and I think to kind of get a better understanding of what is going to be done, and then we can just share that. I know I did have Mr. Pittman kind of review the document, but I'd like to be able to at least share that with you. And next up, I will share or kind of turn over to Mr. Pittman, but it is the awarding the bid for Heltonville Elementary School building.
Thank you. If you recall, back in May, we received bids and we got two bids. We got one from Bedford Transitions LLC, which is Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford's here tonight, and Michael Correa. As the statute allows, we continue to bid. The two bidders who submitted bids could continue to increase their bids until we reached a high bidder. We just reached the high bidder today, and Mr. Ford and his Bedford Transitions LLC was the high bidder at $735,000. Appreciate Mr. Ford and Mr. Correa in their patience and going through this process. We sent a lot of emails back and forth, a lot of text messages back and forth, but it had to be done that way. It had to be in writing, you had to share each bid with each other. And so it took some time to go through that process, but we arrived at a high bidder today. And that's Mr. Ford and Bedford Transitions. So I would submit that to you for your determination. My recommendation is to award the bid because it is the high bidder as the statute requires us to do.
All right, need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve bid.
Bailey makes a motion in a second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Lundberg seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. The only other comments I wanted to share, our summer school is off and going. I don't know if you've been by Parkview, but students were out on the athletic fields, the track and everything, and it is going very well, which is nice to see. Also, the making progress with the football field. If you've been out there and looking at that, it looks like we are on target for July 15th. I know that Mr. Callahan, a little bit like Mr. Gilbert shared earlier, I know the junior high is looking at using the field for their games on Thursday nights. I think obviously our games on Friday nights, the JV. We've spoken to the Boys and Girls Club with the Pop Warner and their availability to use the field on Sundays, a lot like the programs in Bloomington, which will provide the children here as well as an opportunity to play some different teams. And then I know the band as well, and of course, boys and girls soccer. So I think Mr. Callahan has a calendar for that field already, and it's not even built, but clearly it's going to get used more than the 90 hours that the field would be used previously. And it goes very well, exactly what Mr. Gilbert was sharing earlier. Also, the band will be in the Limestone Heritage Parade here in town on Saturday evening at 6 and have their new uniforms. So excited about that, and or that's my understanding. With COVID, there's always that whether it's all in or not, but so we're excited about that and that opportunity. So that's all I have. Just wanted to give you those updates.
Thank you. What's that? Do we have anything else? Are we going to item H? Item H, persons address the board. Seeing none. That closing business. Meeting executive session 5:15 PM on Thursday, July 1st, 2021.
We're going to postpone that one since it's next week.
Okay, that's right.
And then I just pulled my calendar. I think we discussed meeting the 15th. The 15th would be an executive session and regular meeting.
So, be an executive, will not be an executive session on Thursday, July 1st. Will be an executive session, 5:15 PM, regular session, 6:30 on Thursday, July 15th, 2021, LCS Administration Board.
Yeah. And I will share, we may need to, of course, we will advertise any other meetings that we would need to advertise there in July as needed. And if we need to as well, sometimes before school starts, we'll just check and see with the hirings and stuff as well.
That take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Really makes a motion. Longer seconds, the motion, questions on the motion. Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same.